民跟后发，宣扬人民政府，今天胜利了。
但是你们能不能？
刚才也问我啊，我可以回半点去，无可奉告。我也不高兴。
哎，什么叫中国共产党啊？党叫干啥就干啥。
黑夜即将到来，一定要做好准备。
是。
干死共产党！不干死共产党，绝不罢休！
消灭中共是正义的需要。
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Expose the CCP program, and we're going to continue to expose the truth regarding the CCP and help the world understand the evil CCP's true face. Now we have two familiar faces again, Mr. Truth and also Chris. Hi, Mr. Truth.
Hello, Zee. Hello, Chris. Everyone, how are you? Welcome to our program. Happy to be here again. Thank you.
Awesome. It will be a very good episode today. And hi, Chris.
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be on the show again today. Thank you.
Yeah, there's so many breaking news recently also, and the CCP, the Communist China is having a big flood and causing, unfortunately, a lot of losses of properties and lives. And from this, but what's most important, we got to see the truth of the CCP is why it's the CCP that causes all these disasters, and they didn't use their resources to rescue, to do the proper preventive actions, etc. But first, let's check out a video, and we'll discuss about it later.
Jiaotong, which is one of these universities that was identified by the Senate as running a lot of these 1,000 talent recruitment, but also the espionage operations. I mean, there's several examples in the article of papers that are listed on the Federal Reserve's website. So these are not random scholarly papers. These are papers that the Federal Reserve or various, the St. Louis Fed, the Dallas Fed are using to guide their models, where the co-authors listed on them are people from the Fed and people from Chinese state-run universities. I mean, that's insane. And if you look at some of these conferences that are being held, in one case, there was a conference actually at the headquarters of the St. Louis Fed on, quote, debt, financial markets, and monetary policy. they invited someone from Fudan University. I mean, it's egregious enough to invite them into the Fed, a country that's actively seeking to subvert and co-opt people into becoming spies on behalf of the Chinese. But to be lecturing on a Fed conference about what America's policy should be surrounding debt, a country that owns how much of our debt, it's absolutely insane. And to bring this back to Jerome Powell, he's done nothing on the enforcement front. There's been no movement, as far as I'm concerned, on any of these employees that were identified by the Senate. The Fed did nothing to expand their policies when it comes to international research collaborations proactively. The Senate sort of passed something, which it's wild if the Senate is beating the Fed to doing anything, saying that you can't take compensated gigs with the Chinese or with any foreign country, but you can still take uncompensated gigs. So then the second you resign, like all of these people we just went through, suddenly they're posted up as professors at not just China, not institutions that happen to be in China, right? Institutions that are part of China's economic warfare operation to steal data and co-opt Fed employees from every level, all the way to, as we saw, former Fed governors. There are Fed governors listed on research papers alongside members of the Chinese Communist Party, advising the Fed on what their monetary policy should be. I mean, if that doesn't make you outraged and enraged and show that Jerome Powell needs to go because, just like Anthony Fauci, he does not understand the threat posed by the Chinese Communist Party, then I don't know what other smoking guns I could bring you. But it's a complete lack of leadership. In fact, I think it's not just ignorance, it's almost intentional, as we're seeing it's being subverted from the inside out.
Yeah, you may remember like a few weeks ago in our program, we also exposed that. Sorry, morning allergies. We have exposed that the CCP have well infiltrated into the federal by Mao's intelligence like years ago. So, and this are also confirmed that we need to take actions. Sorry, Chris, please.
I think that Anthony Fauci and Jerome Powell are not unaware of the threat posed by the CCP. Rather, they are directly collaborating with the CCP, providing technology and intelligence to the CCP to harm the United States and the free world. Fauci providing the technology to manufacture the CCP virus, and then Powell deliberately allowed individuals cooperating with the CCP to infiltrate the Federal Reserve, providing the Fed's intelligence and confidential information to the CCP. Powell himself has also failed to fulfill his obligations as the Fed chair, which is to effectively regulate interest rate based on the interest of Americans. Low interest rate can enhance the export competitiveness of American goods and increase investment willingness. Therefore, Powell is essentially setting obstacles for President Trump, and this has nothing to do with the Fed maintaining an independent stance. So if the Federal Reserve continues to be infiltrated and manipulated by the CCP and does not act in the interest of Americans, it would be better to abolish and dissolve the Federal Reserve, return to the pre-1930 method, and revert to the gold standard. The Federal Reserve's unlimited money printing causes inflation and mislocation of investments, deprives savers of their purchasing power, and obscure true market data, leading investors to channel limited resource into investment plans that should not exist in a free market. In American history, there was a time when the Federal Reserve did not exist. Congress passed law to establish the Fed, and the same process could also make it ineffective. This actions can also pressure the Federal Reserve, forcing it to reform or face opposition. Ultimately, the goal is to ensure that the Federal Reserve makes decisions in the interest of the American people and to make it a presumed force in the effort to eradicate CCP. And that's how I think about the video.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing your opinion. Yeah, we have slightly discussed this. Their long history of Federal Reserve and many criticism as well about how they control their monetary policy because they don't always make the best interest for the broad, normal people. So they sometimes the policies can be manipulated or even abused by some conspirators to take advantage of making profit and do such bad things. So we'll continue to watch the progress. I mean, we hope this American will be great again. But the more alarming signal here is the CCP's infiltration. The ultimate goal of CCP to take down the U.S. and lead the world. That's their desire and conspiracy. Okay, so now go to Mr. Truce. Please share your opinion with us.
Okay, thank you, Zee. What we're seeing is that there's a difference between the Federal Reserve and the Trump administration's policies. So the Federal Reserve really it's a private corporation, shareholding by the top like 7 or 10 U.S. banks. I forgot the most powerful banks. So I think how they make money, obviously, like any companies. So if you charge the interest, okay, so there 1% or 2% will go, for example, go to the shareholders of the Federal Reserve, okay, and then if you lower the interest, and relatively you get less from it proportionally. And then what is the problem is use this so-called monetary policy, according to traditional economics, you're supposed to be help the nation, okay, to in the case of need. So when, in other words, when you need the market or the investment is needed for United States, for example, then the Reserve Bank should accommodate that by lower the interest rate. And at this moment, if the interest rate is too high, the borrowing cost is too high, then it will make it less willingness for the investors to invest into businesses because the cost is too high. So if you reduce it to a minimum, then that will encourage investment. This is what we needed. I think according to Trump's administration, the United States need to build a lot of manufacturing bases, supply chains, and so on, to be able to effectively detach from Chinese supplies, CCP supplies. But we know that by the video, we know that what was the problem is the Federal Reserve is heavily infiltrated by, influenced by like Fudan University and also Jiao Tong University in Shanghai, in China. Those are owned by the Chinese Communist parties. So the academic influence, exchange of information, invitation for them to be advisor to show U.S. Federal Reserve how you can run your business. That's ridiculous. It's you invite your enemy, okay, come to your yard and to have parties, have barbecues, and make them an honorable guest. This is so unbelievable. So obviously they're gonna give you some advices that would be, you know, maybe theoretically they can make an argument about, however, practically it will have a negative influence in the interests of Americans. Americans corporate development and also investment willingness, which are very important to expand the lack of the cut-off supply from the CCP. So if in one side you cut off supply, you do not build your own manufacturing bases, what happens? And then you will lose the war, okay? You lose the tariff war against the CCP. this is where the conflict of interest come from. So this is why I think Trump said many times I should sack the power of the Federal Reserve chairman. It is a situation we can see how comfortably, how easily the CCP have been infiltrated to the Federal Reserve and knowing all the informations, including the real world asset, how to transform into the cryptocurrencies, as well as how to use the digital US dollars, how China is going to use the gold-backed digital yen, okay, to replace the US dollars as a predominantly trading currency for many years of the past. So that will be secondly allowed the CCP and its alliance like Russia, North Korea, and together to actually take over the US dollar's dominance, which again, if you can't have the USD as the major trading currency, then you lost your financial warfare, monetary warfare against your enemies, which we know those evil enemies they are trying to take over the world and then trying to weaken Americans and kill Americans. And then the world will be really in the dark. So it is a essential threat from the CCP, from the digital RMB into the United States dominance of the US dollars. We don't say US dollars Federal Reserve is perfect, but however, given the situation now we're in the war, in the Third World War, unrestricted warfare against the CCP, then I think they means that the Federal Reserve and the US government ought to working together for the best interest of the United States. But at this moment, Trump seems to have a headache trying to convince our Federal Reserve to working together in a coordinated way. But we'll see what is going to happen. Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic. Yeah, there are a lot of collaborations, maybe even collusions with the CCP, but they actually need to work for the interest of the U.S. people. That's the most important part of this concept. So we got to eliminate the CCP, and we'll find a better way to improve or even get rid of Federal Reserve later. Okay, so that's good for this first part. And the second one, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, so we feel really sad, and we need to have this sorrows for the people who died during this flood event. But we know that the China, especially if you're living in the Yangtze River area, or even Yellow River, either one, there are a lot of flood almost every year. It's just how severe it is. And the CCP didn't do anything with it. They claim that they're going to build dams upstream to fix it, and they're going to help to build more protections for the people, but they never fulfill because they don't want to do that. For the totalitarian regime, their number one goal is to stay in reign, so they can control the people, the life, anything, they don't care. So let's watch out what Mao said about the true nature of the CCP.
The CCP has bought the whole world. For the first time, Western capitalism has been completely capitalized by the CCP. Doesn't the CCP call the West capitalism? Doesn't capital come before the ideology? So the CCP capitalized the West. America and Europe, capitalized by the CCP, lost their way. They become skeptical of God, their religion, and Jesus. The phenomenon we've seen in the United States in the last 2 or 3 years didn't happen between 1929 and 1943. It didn't happen during the Great Depression. Religious organizations have probably received record low donations in the last 2 or 3 years. What happened in America during the Depression in 1929? Milk was thrown into the river because there were no buyers. What did you see everywhere? There were President Hoover bags, sleeping bags, and Hoover chairs in which the public slept. And Hoover's cookies like dog food. How many people died? How many families were destroyed? Then World War II saved the U.S. and world economies. It was the world's worst recession. From 1929 to 1933, it was the worst and a tragic sight. Religious organizations received more donations then. And you look at it today, America is about to face a crisis, a recession that's going to be bigger than the one in 1929.
Well, we know Miles' warning have always been true, many of them. We hope this one will be not as bad as what he told us. It will be worse than the Great Recession. But there are a lot of signs that the current financial system may collapse because if you do the fractional banking, there's so many debts that created from nowhere, and some of them are hidden as credits. But how do you tell the difference between these credits and debts? Eventually, they get messed up. Even according to Miles, the smartest accountants, maybe even financier, they couldn't figure out. According to basic math, we're probably already broke, the whole nation, the whole world. So we probably need to build a new system somehow in the near future. That's a long story. I'm not the expert in the area, but I just express my feelings, my deep concerns regarding this topic. And let's let Chris. Know you probably did some research. So what's your thought on this topic?
Well, I think from the video and from what Mr. Miles Guo mentioned before, like not only in this video, but he mentioned like in other videos that the Forbes billionaire rankings list the world's wealthiest people every year, but this ranking is not accurate. So like I think that many billionaires hide outside the list through nominees and foundations. The CCP families are wealthier than those on the Forbes ranking. And some individuals on the list are actually nominees for others. This is the truth about the CCP's capital power. The CCP use its capital power to infiltrate and control the capital market through the BGY strategy. Bribery, espionage, and honey trap. Buying out the former, for example, buying out the former Pope and signing the Sino-Vatican secret agreement to control the religions. And the CCP defeats the capital market with capital, outwardly embracing market economics while actually manipulating and using capital as a weapon to subvert and reshape the global order. So there could be two reasons for future economic collapse. One is that the CCP and anti-Trump forces to block President Trump from making America great again. In collusion with traders of American sellout, deploy financial unrestricted warfare to create a financial crisis, causing all financial product controlled by the CCP to explode. This would make the money invested by Western pension fund in China disappear, and then through the media, blame it on President Trump, affecting his governance. And the second reason is that the collapse of the CCP would also mean the bursting of the world's largest bubble, because the CCP's financial data is fabricated. This would simultaneously affect the global economic. There would be short-term pain, but in the long run, it would be beneficial. The short-term pain needs to be overcome through innovations in the financial industry, such as cryptocurrency and gold, for risk avoiding. In the long run, the collapse of the CCP and the establishment of a new system in China would make China a force for good in the world. So we are all waiting for the bubble to be explode So, and we need to be ready for that economic crisis, and we need to overcome it, and then to have a better world without CCP. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, financial control by the CCP is everywhere in Communist China, and we do not want to see that happens in U.S., in the West, and for all of us. Unfortunately, the economy is not good. We can feel it, inflations and job losses, and everything that every day. But let's still focus on the CCP. That's still our enemy number one. Okay, now Mr. Truth.
Yep. Okay, talking about what Chris was saying, and the Forbes list of the most richest, wealthiest men in America or in the world, that's a fake list according to Moscow. Why? Because the CCP's families and the white graphs have so much cash, okay, which they're stolen from the Chinese banks. Now, how they do it? They do through, the interbank arrangement. That, say, for example, if a Bank of China in Beijing send their banknotes to Chris, will give you a billion US dollars. Then you can take that and deposit in the Bank of America, for example, and then that is yours. So you can cash out from Bank of America and do a few arrangements and through your trust and manage it in cryptocurrency, and also in some real, buying some 5 hotel chain, for example. Then that be your ownership will be yours. So, in other words, if the Bank of China doesn't require you to pay them back, you effectively have that banknote, which is worth as a cash of United States dollars, for example, $1 billion US dollars, and from which you grow so rich. You have the top 4 will advise you how to invest, but of course you are also a person who is familiar with the financial market. Okay, and you can have help, of course, from all different sources, from the CCP's intelligence. I mean, generation by generation for 50 years, how rich you can be. You can be every time when there's a listed company before, and you can become the original shareholder. Okay, so the PE ratio, like, you could get 10 times or 100 times return in a 3, 4, 5 years, and compounding on that, it will be enormous wealth. So those wealths are never recorded. Why? They don't want people in China know they stolen the money. So when the things go to south, or when the CCP, when the Trump administration want to sanction those people who are against American interest, I think the bank account will be exposed. How much wealth will be exposed? It's not difficulty. You can chase the money, follow the money, follow the chain. You'll find out. And then it will trigger probably a revolution in China. People will say, no, how come we cannot pay our mortgage, our cars, our petrol, our very expensive electricity? How you guys have so much money? I mean, you are supposed no wealth cost. The CCP is supposed a cost of people with no wealth. But indeed, this is a lie. Okay. There's a globalist communism. They use lies and deception and misinformation, disinformation. And people now still see the song, get up, okay? No class, our poor people, we should throw out the old dictatorship. But they're not, okay? So now they dictate, the poor people become dictatorship. Chinese Communist Party member never been poor. This funded by the Soviet Union's money. And still now they're tied together with Putin trying to against the rest of the world, especially the Western world. So what I'm trying to get at is the CCP basically have stolen all our surplus, our pension funds. If you look at the Chinese pension fund, they're trillions of dollars, but where they are, they're drained out. They just sent outside. But in the same time, they take Americans' pension fund, the teachers' union fund, and invest in what? In all the properties. Now we know the property doesn't have any return. There's so many high-rise building built that is empty. So that will trigger a recall from the Western investors, fund managers. So when that news really come out, what you found out that most of the pension fund investor from the United States through Hong Kong into China is gone. So you cannot eat the grasses, but the Chinese people can eat the grass for 3 years. Can the American people survive without without the chicken and steaks? I doubt it. So this is what Wang Qishan said. That Wang Qishan threatened his counterpart in the United States, said, we Chinese people can eat the grasses for 3 years or 5 years. Can you guys, in other words, if you don't, do the things that I want you to do, basically through the PGY, and then we're going to declare the business is bankrupt, so your money is gone. So how are you going to face your mom and dad, all the millions of, hundreds of millions of investors from the United States? So this is a financial time bomb yet to be disclosed. That's why Miles Gore said that there will be a Great Depression coming. I believe what he said, but how severe, how fast? Can we get a fast recovery, or has that been planned by deep state to really wipe out all the middle class in the United States and in the world? So we'll start with control the supply chain for food, and also start another pandemic, another lockdown, and then the world, the economy is really going to be in dark green and white. The people's confidence of spending money and working hard is gone, so people will be in trouble, and there will be massive amount of social unrest. And we pray for this doesn't happen, but we don't know really. I think the CCP and the deep state, those guys maybe have the answer. Let's hope we free Miles Gore, let him tell us, update with us, and people have been prepared when that happens. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this deep thought. Yeah, there are so many things regarding this aspect, but ultimately the world will be very good because money, I don't know, there are many definitions. Who knows what money is? But most of our fiat currency we're using right now, it's also some sort of commodity goods, and it has been created from nowhere by some mechanisms. But most importantly is as long as you're alive, you're a valuable person, you're a valuable human that can contribute to this world, to building a better future for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your kids. And eventually, I think without the CCP, the world will still be running fine and a much better position. Okay, I think we are almost time. We got a short episode today, and do you two have anything else to add? Let's start from the Chris for a couple more minutes so we can wrap up.
I think that for the deep state and for the CCP, like they try to destroy the middle class so that the middle class won't become their future competitors. That's why they want to destroy it. But for a better world, we need more middle class people. We need the poor people to become the middle class, and the more middle class means it's more healthier for all the countries. So we need to make our government to protect the middle class and grow more middle class. So like the system can be more healthier. That's how I think. Thank you.
Right, it will be a more fair world, not necessarily equal, but more fair. Thank you. And how about you, Mr. Truth?
Yeah, I think as the world moving to AI, super AI, and it looks like it seems inevitable that the automation and the AI technology will replace human labor. So what we need to know is to find the balance and make sure everyone have a equal chance to contribute. I'm sure that they always everyone's individual. There's always a thing you can do to contribute, and we have a much better distribution system to maintain the human race, and everyone have the right to live in with dignity. Okay, in other words, sufficiency in maintain a good health, but also have a freedom to do what they want to do as long as they contribute, and then the world will be much a better place. Thank you.
Yeah, we still have a very good future. All the technologies, they all have their dual-sided sword, and it can be used for good, can be used for bad. It depends on who controls the technology. This is why we are the ordinary people now finally have a chance due to the evolution of technologies. We can utilize AIs and social medias to help work together each other. Don't be separated. We have to be united and working toward a better future for majority of the population. You know, looking at the history back in many centuries, yearly the 1%, maybe even 0.1% of people dominates the world. But with the new technologies, that's probably not going to be the case unless we really give up all our rights and count out to these people and be willing to become digital slaves in the next generation. I hope not. I guess our audience says at least they won't want to be that. So we're going to fight back and to build a more fair world, more free world, and with the majority of people benefit from that. So I think thank you very much for both of you for contributing to this program. I think it's a very interesting topics, and we're going to continue to discuss about our future. But most importantly, at this moment, our enemy number one is definitely the CCP. Let's take down the CCP together first, and we'll be really well, live really well. Okay.
Thank you. Take it down the CCP.
Thank you. Take down the CCP.
See you next time. Bye.
See you. Bye.
他们的恐惧是我们的武器，我们的胜利。谢谢了，兄弟姐妹们，你们健身了吗？行动，行动，行动！中共，你完了 ！Take down the CCP！
beginning for the games you want to play. Bring it on and I will fight to the end. Just watch and see. It's all started, everything's begun, and you are over. Cause we're taking down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all lied for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP. Let the bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
中共，
Let the bullets fly a little
你
longer.
完了！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
中共，你完了！干灭中国共产党这个 CCP， 还能让我们远离恐惧。Take down CCP。
They try to scare the nation with fabrication, but we see through the lies. We won't fall, we will fight you back. Police corruption with crooked assumption. They ran our lives, but no more. We will win. We will take down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all fly a little longer.
站起来吧，
Let the bullets fly a little
被
longer.
奴役的人们
Let！the bullets fly a little longer.
行动，
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
行动，
Let the bullets fly a little
你
longer.
完了
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
！Take it down，
Bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
take it down，
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
take it down，
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
take it down，
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
take it down，
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
take it down，
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
take it down，
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
take it down，
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
take it down，
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
take it down，The evil CCP。